welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at gods5minutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. Today I'd like to read to you the greatest call to worship that has ever been written in the history of the world, the psalm we affectionately know as Old 100, the 5 verses of the 100th Psalm. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, it says, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations. God put it in us people to want a leader who is wise, just, gracious, handsome, who has the competence and authority to keep us secure from enemies without and domestic issues within. The opening verse of this psalm begins with, make a joyful noise, and the original has a reference to the roar of approval a stadium-sized crowd of happy people give when their king appears. The assembly of God's people should be a time of great joy. One old poet wrote of it, we have met today on the old campground, and our shouts of glory ring. There's a mighty stir as the Lord comes down, and the saints his praises sing. Those who have been in the times and places where pure hearts worship with powerful heavenly songs God was blessing understand the meaning of these weighty words. The psalm has a meaning writ large in the hearts of God's people. As another poet phrased it, who but the Christian is happy and free, filled with the glory of God? None in creation so happy as he, washed and redeemed in the wonderful blood. No one can shout for innocent, holy joy like those whose consciences are clear and who are presently enjoying the blessing of communing with like spirits in praising the author of their salvation. The brief little phrase, all ye lands, is meant to tell us the salvation brought through the reign of our great King is universal, ageless, not restricted by gender, just as effective for the Australian Aborigine as the boardrooms of corporate America and all places in between. Serve the Lord with gladness, sang the ancient writer. The original says something like, glad homage pay with awful mirth. The highest reach of Christianity is public worship services, which God intended to be among earth's most joyous experiences. The Old Testament church found it so. One of those patriarchs wrote, he who has never been in Jerusalem at the Feast of Tabernacles has never known joy. And we in the New Jerusalem possess even more with our old-time camp meetings, happy songs floating out on the evening air, familiar faces we haven't seen for a long time. There are ringing testimonies of powerful blessings our King has showered upon us, followed by stirring altar work marked by sinners making their way to the old-fashioned mourner's bench, the altar, to lay down the old life and be forgiven, to come home. The next verse, know ye that the Lord, he is God, speaks to the monotheistic religion that has characterized God's people through the centuries. There are not many gods in this world. When Christ was asked what the greatest commandment is, he referred to this truth. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, he is one Lord. Life is simplified. Understanding of our place and purpose in existing in it are so much easier to grasp if we accept the great truth in the next phrase. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. It is tremendously comforting in dealing with life's mysteries and sometimes reverses, to understand there is a guiding hand above us all, working purposes too profound for us to grasp, but always just, always loving, always true. And finally, to truly be able to say and believe that we are his people. The very words give meaning to life, make us valuable, bring calm to the storm and hope to the darkest night. We should go to public worship services, there to offer praise and thanksgiving.
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at godsfiveminutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.